Welcome to 13 minutes of news in 13 minutes or less. All right, guys, remember, all the news I talk about here can be found on ridesharerodeo.com. Everything, all the news, all the podcasts, all the social media links, all at ridesharerodeo.com. Check it out. But let's just jump right in today, guys. So Lyft drivers who use electric vehicles will get $150 bonus if they complete 50 trips a week. So you're going to get a $150 bonus every week if you own an electric vehicle on the Lyft platform for every week that you do 50 trips or more. So if you're looking at a new car or a used car or whatever, and electric has been in your mind and you drive a lot of Lyft, this might, or you drive a lot of Uber and Lyft and it's pretty comparable, this would put you over the top. I'm not the biggest believer in the Lyft model, but hey, it's a great incentive if working Uber and Lyft is just kind of having you at a certain level. This would push you way over the top. It'd be an extra $600 a month if you're doing that. So let's talk a little Uber, guys, and it's kind of everything related. So first of all, this week a New York City judge gave Uber allowed Uber's bid to block the raise that rideshare drivers are supposed to be getting here on December 19th, which is this coming week. So this has been in place for a while, and last minute, hey, we got a judge, we're going to block this. Moving into the new year, we're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff because, as we've talked about, there's a lot of changes coming to a lot of states, and we will be talking about it on lots of different things on this channel and on the audio podcast, so stay tuned. I got great guests lined up to walk us through different things that are going to be happening in the new year, so stay tuned. So also what is being challenged, so the New York City blocking the rideshare pay, but also what is being challenged is the fight to pay delivery workers $23 an hour, which is supposed to be the new rate in New York City for delivery time as well. And that is also being challenged now. I don't know if the block has been allowed on that one yet, but it is being challenged as of this week. Let's see. Uber Eats, sidewalk, robots, autonomous trash cans, autonomous food delivery vehicles, or igloo coolers with stroller wheels. Whatever you call it, they have not fared well in any city setting. They have done okay on college settings. And actually, the more I think about that, the more that makes sense. You don't have as many cars coming through. You got, on college campuses, you got more area for them to work without having to be in the streets and tipping over and all the things that are happening, people abusing them and all these other things, and just the lack of how well they operate. I mean, we've known this for many years. They're just not that efficient. They're not that good. But college campuses seems about right. They are deploying them into a city this week, or it already happened. And I can't believe what city it is. Miami. So they're sending the robot trash. I can't say it any other way. Robot trash. The robot food deliveries to Miami, which is where it's like the melting pot of the world when the world arrives in the U.S. If you're not going to New York City when you first get here, everybody goes down to Miami. So it seems like a horrible place to do this. There's a lot of traffic down there in Miami, a lot of people coming from different places who drive differently. I was down there for a couple of years. It's very, very crazy. So I'm not a big fan of this. I don't know why they just persist on failing. Let's see what this has to do with the new year. I'm sure it does have something to do with the new year and moving into the new year and showing their investors that they are launched in non-college areas. And to say that they're in the Miami market, the funny thing is that they're doing it, 2 weeks before the end of the year and before they're going to be writing quarterly reports. So to me, it's just smoke and mirrors like Uber does all the time. So, and guys, guess what? No joke. Guess what? Uber is finally launching Robotaxis. But guess what? They're starting off with a driver in the car. Again. For the 100th time. But seriously, they are saying that Las Vegas is the city. They said that, again, I think this is all about the end of the year, trying to get some news out there and just a media dump, and then make sure that they can include this into their quarterly reports looking forward, because even they're saying that, yep, we're going to be Robotaxi driverless free, and they keep doing it every year. Well, this year they're saying, okay, well, yeah, going into the new year, but really they're talking about an engineer behind the wheel for the first 3 months or so, or the next 3 months, I shouldn't say first, because it'll keep going, and then going to driverless. So it's exactly how the quarters match up and the reporting would go. So again, to the investors, to make them not pull all their money out of Uber, this is my opinion, but this is why I believe they do a lot of this junk, because things will reach us at levels, but it's not just going to be boom, we're going from drivers to no drivers. I mean, this is a whole process. The way they present it always sounds like here it is, but funny thing is, they've been doing it for 6 years. It's never, ever, ever become real. That's happening, but that's been happening too. Waymo's been with Cruise, and some others have been in San Francisco. Waymo has been in Phoenix for a long time, and a lot of them, Motional, Lyft, Waymo, all of them seem to be in Vegas. So that's just a spot they've all been. Okay. As I've talked about before, my worries and concerns about Uber Connect, because when it was originated out in California. It was being used in the Bay Area to transport drugs, and it was actually gang related, and they did a tail on it, and they did this whole operation and caught a lot of people in the process, but they ended up shutting Uber Connect down. They never said it was directly correlated to that, but if you look at the timing, it's pretty clear. But then they brought Uber Connect back, and I've been saying on a lot of things, the roundtables, other lives, whatever, that Uber Connect is dangerous, because it does allow drug dealers or whoever just to send anything in your car without any accountability, really. And it becomes like, where does the driver stand on this? So in every this one is NBC News, but you can find it in any news right now. If you Google lawmakers want answers from Uber about drivers allegedly transporting drugs, if you Google that or any part of that, then you'll find articles on it on every publication, because they are wanting to know what is being done to make sure drugs are not going in Uber Connect. They're very concerned about this. So, as I've said, Uber Connect is a sketchy thing. Do it with a grain of salt, and do it with your wits 100% about you, because I'm not even 100% sure. And I've spoken with some lawyers, and I know the guys at Legal Rideshare. I talk with people all the time, and really nobody's 100% clear. You should be covered under your commercial insurance, but at the bare minimum, it would at least, if anything happened, it would at least wind up in a complete waste of some to much of your time, because you would get tied up in this lawsuit and whatever. And if criminals were prosecuted, that's one thing for sure. This would all you would be a player in that. Whether or not, maybe you are fully covered by your commercial insurance, you're not going to have to pay anything, but nonetheless, that part you will be responsible for. And I think we all can agree that time is, you can't get it back. So if you're going to be tied up for days in court, that's lost time working, spending with your family, anything you might want to do with that. And to me, that just isn't worth the risk. The risk ratio there is just way off. So I've always thought Uber Connect is not a safe method of doing this. And I know there's others like Rodeo and Curry and things like that, but usually those involve scanners and looking at, they're more checked, or it's more a B2B relationship. So it is different. Uber's also the largest, so why not address it through them? But be careful out there with Uber Connect. Make sure that if you are doing it, and especially if you're doing it often, that you do kind of check your insurance, how you're covered on that, and realize that the biggest portion would be that you might have to appear in court and be part of this whole thing. So again, guys, all the news I'm talking about and tons more that is posted daily, can be found at ridesharerodeo.com. Now, last thing. This week, Prop 22 in California was challenged in the appellate court. In August of 2021, Alameda Superior Court Judge Frank Roche challenged Prop 22 was unconstitutional to the state of California's constitution. This has been waiting to play out. So defending Prop 22 was the state attorney general, Rob Bonta, I believe. I hope I'm getting that name right. And he argued that, like any ballot initiative, it is presumed to be valid. And further, that he said the right of initiatives is one of the most precious rights of our democratic process. So, precious is one of the most precious rights of our democratic process. Sorry, guys, I got my glasses on. The sun's coming in. Surely it will be appealed, but for now, Prop 22 will remain in place. So what does that mean? It means that's what they've been working on, to say there's actually a big group of people who, when AB 5 passed, didn't want the perks of Prop 22 because they were looking to unionize. So is Prop 22 in a limbo mode right now? Has it been, as I've said before, has it been like other states can come and see if they want to do it in their state by, oh, this looks really great, and there's no unions involved, and there's Prop 22. And now all of a sudden, even California, not yet, but soon, will they take that away and you have to join a union because they defeat Prop 22, and all of a sudden under AB 5, you can't work those platforms and be an independent contractor. So moving into the new year, we're going to be talking a lot, like I said. The last audio podcast I did last year of the year was with Entree Courier. The last audio podcast I'm going to do this year is with Entree Courier. And we are going to deep dive early 2023, try and give you guys a little bit of heads up as to what could, might, and probably will be going down. So until then, that's 13 minutes of news in 13 minutes or less. Have a great weekend. Peace.